We're Batman at 89. Greetings, citizens of Gotham, and welcome to Batminute 89, the show that relentlessly pursues, not Vicky, but the truth behind Tim Burton's Batman 1 minute at a time. I am one of your hosts, John Parker.
And I am the other truth seeker, Niall McGowan. You've heard so many lies about Tim Burton's 1989 Batman, but we're getting to the real deal.
Only one podcast tells the truth.
Yeah, we're putting it out there. Truthers, that's us.
The Batman truthers. Yeah,
that's
we
a
just
thing
go
now,
on
apparently.
other podcasts and just go liars, and then that's the entire experience.
Well, those voices you can hear are our very special guests, because today and all week we are joined by Murren Kennedy and Jessa Lowe of Point Break Minute.
yay!
Hi guys, thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Thanks for joining.
absolutely. We're happy to be here talking about Batman, baby.
Woo!
It's kind of like the exact opposite end of the visual spectrum, because like Point Break is just like all beaches and sunshine and
Yeah.
buff bods and all this stuff, and then this is just like gothic and dark and night all the
This is
time.
like Phantom
pretty
of the
much.
Opera.
Well, they do some night surfing and some night football.
That's
but
very
even
true.
those scenes aren't quite as dark as this.
Well, can I shock everybody, right? I've never seen Point Break.
Oh,
And Niles told me to watch it, so it's my own fault. But I've seen many like parodies of it, so I kind of feel like I've seen half of the film.
I mean, pretty much.
yeah. There's a Point Break live show which I've really wanted to see, and apparently there's a production of it that's happening in Portland where we are, and I almost went out for it, but
You've got to. It's your obligation, sure.
I had
Exactly.
too many conflicts, unfortunately, but I
Oh.
was quite disappointed that it wouldn't have worked out. But I want to see it.
If only it was on ice as well. That would just be the because it
great.
wouldn't go with the setting Niall was just giving me. It would be perfect. Like in my,
Yes.
I want the contrast.
That would be fantastic.
A lot of interpretive dances about Bodhi and Johnny's relationship.
I want to see them just doing like a doubles ice skating routine about their bromance.
Some ribbon dancers are playing the waves.
Yeah, oh my god, yes. That sounds. I really want to see that now. Anyway, Batman on ice.
Batman.
Pretty sure there is a Batman on Ice as well, but
Well, this, though, is minute 103 of Tim Burton's Batman. And the minute starts with a battered and beaten Bats, and it ends with him being a clumsy oaf. What an idiot.
and I will actually just briefly start the minute with some house cleaning, as we've done a few times before. But a thing we forgot to mention last week, which I thought that was pretty important, is that during the infamous, the Joker shooting down the Batwing and all that business, that would seem to be a direct reference to the film Patton with George C. Scott, directed by Franklin J. Schaffner, where it's obviously the biopic, it's the biopic of General Patton, and it contains a scene of him facing down the Luftwaffe in North Africa just by standing in the street and just actually saying the lines, "Come on, you take a shot at me, right on the nose." And then Luftwaffe, like a plane, shoots at him, completely misses him, and then he takes out a gun and starts shooting back, which it would seem like, yeah, that's probably a direct reference. So that's what they were going for. And we didn't say it then, but here it is now. So in case someone's just sitting there, was waiting, they missed the Patton reference, damn it.
All those Patton fans.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. All those Patton fans just sitting and waiting.
Yeah, Patman. Is that a thing?
The Pat Men. That could be the
Patman.
But that's gendering it a bit much. I'm sure there's plenty
Yeah.
of women who like that movie.
Pat person.
Those Patton heads.
Yeah.
Pat's people.
Yeah. Patton is a movie that I have never seen before.
Me
It's,
either.
on my list for years, but just one of those things.
It's one of those annoying ones that they always show around like the Christmas holidays during the day, but they edit out all the good stuff. So it's like,
Oh yeah.
there's like there's full blown iconic lines that have to go because they're swearing in them and stuff. Like him, like, "Oh, you magnificent," I read your book, and it's like, no, that scene's gone. It's just like, you can't have him swearing at midday. It's like, just show the movie later in the day.
Yeah.
The
after hours.
I just know that line from Mystery Science Theater 3000, their Side Hackers episode.
No, well, at least they got to say
There's a character. There's a character named Rommel, and then every time someone says Rommel, they just finish the line. "You magnificent I read your book."
Oh, yes, I completely forgot about that. Oh, my God. Now I need to rewatch it.
Well, there you go. There's
It's a good episode.
And
Side Hackers.
This is Patton reference minutes. The other films that reference Patton include.
This is Batman. We are at the start of this. We're back with Batman as he climbs out of the wreckage of the Batwing, and in the background you can see Joker leading Vicky to the cathedral.
Yeah, and to be fair, at this point, genuinely always kind of shocked when you just don't like when that wreckage starts moving and he comes out that you don't hear like dun 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 dun. That totally is. That's the Terminator. Like that's the end of the Terminator when the exoskeleton comes out, flaming wreckage.
Yeah.
The couple of steps thinking they're safe, and all of a sudden it just comes out.
So you want him to emerge liquid metal from the Batwing?
Oh, no, I want him to emerge stop motion Stan Winston, old school, 84.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That would also. That's my favorite Terminator, so I'd be on board with that definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the original draft, Batman's actually in even worse shape. Like I know he looks pretty rough here, but in the original draft, he's awful because it says, Batman slumps at the controls. Beneath him, asphalt shifts and buckles. The Batwing lurches to the right, drops a foot or two into the tunnel. Metal braces collapse, and the let me do it again. And the plexiglass dome of the cockpit shatters like an eggshell. Tongues of fire lick at his face. He's helpless, pinned in place. He manages to look up and sees, through a dreamlike haze, a hand extend toward him. And basically Robin comes and saves him because he can't even move. He's like,
Oh, yeah. I forgot Robin was going to be in this. And it was going to be Damon, one of the Wayans brothers, right?
Really? I
Yeah.
love the way
yeah,
Well,
one of the rumored ones, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think that was more the Wayans was I think confirmed for Batman Returns. As apparently it was some kid in this one, but I think it was in Batman Returns. I think it's actually we'll cover it obviously next movie, but I believe that it was Damon. I think it was Marlon Wayans. I think he was paid for it and everything. Like he actually got a paycheck going. Like, well, you can't be in the movie, but here's your pay anyway because we're told you were contracted to do it, and he just walked away like, all right, okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty sweet gig.
Yeah. Almost in Batman.
Yeah. Disappointing that you're not, but I mean, take the money. I'm not gonna tell her to.
Better than nothing.
Yeah. Oh, I was just going to say one thing that I noticed when he emerged from the crash is that the lighting from the back makes him kind of look like he's wearing a white Batman costume. So I got really excited for a minute that he was going to be wearing like the Jaden Smith all white Batman outfit. And I was thinking like, oh, is this the precursor for Jaden Smith's like, fashion choices? But no, you see from the other angle, it's just the black one. So
such disappointment in your voice.
Yeah, it's like, oh.
Someone needs to at least like Photoshop it for you and send it to you.
Yeah,
just to make you feel better.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of, I think it was posted up there again recently in like the Star Wars Minute Society with apparently there was some like alternate universe comic where you saw what would happen if Vader had survived killing Palpatine. And it was Luke brings him back to Endor, and then he disappears for a bit, and then he reappears in a completely white Darth Vader suit. And it's
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's one of those things you just look at, it's like, that is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life.
But kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, cool in a, like, I'm glad it didn't actually happen kind of way. But...
I like the way they're literally taking that, black and white morality thing. Like, they're going all the way with it. Like, oh, he's a good guy now, white.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, he does have the full-blown, like, well, I guess I can just come in and meet your friends now, who I have previously tortured. Just like, it's no big deal. It's like, I'm pretty sure you'd be wanted for war crimes, dude. Like, you're gonna have to run and hide, like, far, far away.
That's Dad.
But actually, talking about the Robin appearing, that scene is kind of utilized in later movies. That's when in Batman Forever, as you may recall, there's a scene where the Batman's trampled under some scaffolding and a whole bunch of sand and grit and whatnot. And at the last second, Robin appears and lifts him up, and it's the first introduction to here's Dick Grayson as hero. You met him earlier in the movie. It's actually kind of weirdly similar to throughout that original draft of the script. Everything we saw of Dick Grayson is eerily similar to what happens with the Chris O'Donnell one later. There's a scene where obviously Bruce Wayne takes him back to Wayne Manor. And he's the original draft is this movie. It's made much more sort of apparent that it's borderline kidnapping. He's Dick's looking to leave. He steals a gold ashtray, he has it packed up, and he's ready to go out the door. And Bruce is just you're not going anywhere. And he's well, you can't just keep me here, man. He's yeah, I can. And a whole bunch of stuff like this. He's a whole bunch of business, much like in Batman Forever, where Batman keeps telling him you can't go after Two-Face because you'll just kill him, and that you're just after a quest for vengeance and it's not the right way, etc., etc. He's doing the same with the Joker. He's just I know the Joker killed your parents. You're going to go after him just to kill him. I can't let that happen. And there's actually a full-blown scene of Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne, I say fighting. Bruce Wayne, Dick tries to fight him, and Bruce Wayne just kind of knocks the crap out of this kid. And to the point where he actually recognizes that this is Batman. And then Bruce is just he leaves. And then he later on, there's a scene with him and Alfred where he's talking about make sure the boy's taken care of. And in that original draft, Bruce seems to be very much convinced that he's going to die when he's leaving. As he's leaving, Alfred is saying his thank yous and stuff. And it's very somber. At one point, Alfred's supposed to be on the verge of tears and stuff. And it's really made apparent that yeah, but he's not going to come back from this one. Which is weird because it's his first adventure. And it's well, I'm not going to, I sure hope there aren't any other supervillains coming down the line because I can barely take care of this guy.
This sucks.
Yeah. And then the next time you saw Robin would have been now in Robin Regalia, where he's actually dressed up in the costume and stuff. So, yeah, there you go. Just so people know the context of where that scene would have come from.
It really wouldn't have worked in this movie, I don't think, having Robin in it. I can't, not with the finished product at least. If you just inserted Robin into this film, there's no way it would fit.
Do you feel like Robin works in any of the Batman films? Maybe Batman 66.
That's about it, because that fits the mood, the theme, but none of the actual live action movies. No,
not really.
I mean, I don't mind Robin as a character. I know a lot of people really dump on him, and there are good Robin stories, and I don't mind the way. I'm a defender of Batman Forever, so I'm it's fine in that movie. He's fundamentally the most useless character in that movie because he shows up. He's I'm gonna help you, Batman. At the end, is all not just a friend, a partner. They go to the Riddler's Island. Robin instantly gets captured. And then it's presented at the end as well, you got a choice between saving Robin or saving Nicole Kidman. And then so it's just Batman's I brought this guy along once. And look at what happened already. You think about the Batman and Robin shouldn't have happened because he would have been well, you're fired. Because Jesus Christ, you did nothing. You did nothing to help me here.
Can you fire a ward? I don't think you fire a ward. You've taken him on. It's your duty to look after him.
Well, to be fair, in that movie, Chris O'Donnell's 32 years old or something. So
you can have a 32-year-old ward.
He looks maybe like he's a year or two younger than Val Kilmer. This, it would be weird if it would be one of those sort of weird internet stories you hear about, a grown man regresses into 6-year-old, claims he's now a 6-year-old baby girl. And then the next video would be a 32-year-old man is taking his ward to weird billionaire guy.
Yeah.
That reminds me of there's an episode of Arrested Development where Lucille is you're fired, and then Buster says, you can't fire me, I'm your son, I fire you. And he's I was talking to Lupe.
Oh my God. We could
family.
Let's do an Arrested Development podcast on the side.
Oh, yes.
We could talk about that all day.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
I had a question about this, though, sadly. The Joker's plan. His escape
I had a question
plan.
about that, too.
Well, it could very well be the same thing here, because I just thought his whole plan of escape here, it's very unique. Like, why is he climbing the tower to get away? Why doesn't he just drive off? He thinks he's like killed or incapacitated Batman. Just get a car.
Yeah.
I'll defend it. I think on paper it's fine because it's weird because we saw that the streets of Gotham instantly emptied despite being full of people like 2 seconds ago. But I think maybe it might be that like, oh, if I take a car, then I could get caught in loads of traffic and all these people who are down on the ground level. It'll be impossible to sort of etch my way out of this. The police was, and it seems like more like, well, if I go up and get a helicopter, there's no police in the sky. I can just fly away. So it seems like to me, it's like, I get it. It's an okay.
Okay.
Although saying that, it does, spoilers, backfire on him quite drastically. But on paper, it seems like, it's an okay idea, I guess.
Yeah. And it's very dramatic.
Yes.
And speaking of film references, this is very Vertigo.
Yes. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, that is actually.
Yes. I actually found like a list of movies that feature climbing clock towers as part of the film.
Oh, yes.
And there's, of course, Harold Lloyd, Safety Last, where he's the famous shot of him dangling from a clock face.
Yeah.
It's actually not a clock tower, but it's close enough.
We'll
There's,
allow it.
Yeah, Shanghai Nights also refers to Safety Last. Is
I won't knock that movie. That's okay.
yeah,
I
of
felt
course-
like the quality plummeted there. It's just Safety Last, and I was like, Shanghai Nights.
classic silent film to classic Jackie Chan and Owen Wilson.
It was just in that brief period of like, well, you remember when they tried to make another Rush Hour, but it didn't have Chris Tucker in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead had a lot of wow.
Wow.
Oh, yes. Wow.
And then there's Spider-Man 2 and The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh yeah.
Both
both
have
of them.
some clock towers in them.
That's actually a whole element of the main villain and the Lee's love interest in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 doing a whole. Actually, in the just Spider-Man 2 as well. Yeah, there's a whole. It's the hero in pursuit of the villain with the girlfriend there. So,
Yeah.
Very King Kong-esque.
King Kong kind of too. Yeah, that's a good point. He's climbing the outside of a building, but it's still getting to a high point with the female love interest.
Yeah, I think Vicky's got a kind of vibe of what's the character's name? I can't even remember the
Ray?
character's name in King Kong.
Faye Ray is the actress. I don't remember the character.
Oh, the name's like
Yeah.
Jean something, isn't it?
Jean-
Jean Harlow, or is that that might actually be an actual actress.
I think that's an actual actress, yeah. I mean, she's
Let's just
wearing a
say Fay
very...
Ray.
Yeah. She's wearing a very similar outfit to Fay Ray, because Fay Ray has that satin-draped dress, and Vicky has the white robe over a white church dress.
It's
Yeah, it's all
interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
we determined that she's all white because she's trying to bring light into Batman's life, and he's all dark. Which sounds very philosophical and deep, which we're not usually, but that was one of our rare moments. We're like, okay, clearly this is what they're doing here. So.
Yeah.
Another movie that is quite similar to is Metropolis, the Fritz Lang Metropolis, 'cause that ends with the pursuit of the villain up cathedral steps, and it ends on top of that cathedral with the hero and the villain, fighting, and then with in that movie it's Maria, and then she's hanging on for dear life, and then it ends with the villain. Spoilers for Metropolis, a movie near 100 years old. It ends with the villain falling to his death, and also spoilers.
You've ruined it.
Yeah.
Ruined it, Niall.
Some guy would be sitting there like, I was so close to getting to the end of this without finding out what happened.
It's interesting that the movies that have just come up, because I thought this shot of Joker leading Vicky through the bottom of the cathedral here, I found it very beautiful. It's very Tim Burton, but it also felt kind of like almost like a silent movie. Because there's no dialogue, it's all music. It's very creepy as well, and the way it's shot, the lighting. He's kind of just ushering her along. It's like the monster in a film.
Yeah. The first thing I wrote was Phantom of the Opera, question mark?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Danny Elfman's score definitely kind of evokes some classic film. It sounds kind of old, and and it builds very dramatically because there is no dialogue. It's sort of
And
telling
I'm
the
digging
story.
the music in this one, too.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
That's really. It's almost like it kind of switches into a different movie for a minute here, because I think it's like this was an excuse for Tim Burton to lean into everything he's about. He's going to make like, I get to be. It's a pursuit up cathedral steps. Oh, I get to lean this into being like the most gothic, Hammer horror looking, full blown Tim Burton kind of moment that I can. It's like even if he could have had like twisted trees outside, it would have been even more.
Exactly. Some dead kids, like.
But you do get a vibe. It's one of those ones of like it evokes horror movies, but it's hard to pinpoint which one. It's like it's a bit Phantom. It's a bit like I don't know, Creature from the Black Lagoon, whereas like the monster essentially has the girl and his way, and then the heroes in pursuit, and there's stuff like that. You have a kind of Nosferatu kind of vibe to it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then.
Definitely Nosferatu. I was getting vibes of that, and also, I mean, similarly, Bela Lugosi being Dracula, the way he moves and things.
Yeah, he's like it's been a while since we had to talk about that, because like back in the beginning of the movie, every time you saw Batman, he was doing the Bela Lugosi cape move.
Yeah.
It's like the Joker's having to do it without a cape. Like he's sort of ushering her into the door. He's got the arms like wide outspread. You can almost imagine him though with the cape going, "Rah," and then like
Yeah.
slowly backing away the entire way up these stairs too. She never is face forward looking where she's going. She seems to be perpetually backing away from this guy. You just kind of wonder how long he could have kept that going. It could have been like up the top, and then she just walks to the edge of the church and then backs off back down to the ground.
A considerably darker Batman.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's already pretty dark, but yeah, I guess she wants to keep an eye on old Jackie there, make sure he doesn't pull any tricks.
Yeah.
Make
She's
sure that
bound to
gun
do.
doesn't go anywhere. Shouldn't be.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, it's no, an excellent idea. But I mean, there's not much point in keeping your eye on him though. After a certain point,
Yeah.
because surely you know his plan. He's going to take you to the top. He's going to get you in the helicopter. He's going to take you away.
If you've seen movies before, you know what's gonna happen.
Yes.
Well, that's the thing. In movies, it always seems like people haven't seen movies.
Yeah.
It's very confusing.
Yes.
Yeah, especially zombie movies. Like,
Yeah.
what are these things? This is crazy.
Oh god, that's why I do really. I mean, there's many reasons, but I love Shaun of the Dead because, I mean, yeah, it is a comedy, but it is also a horror movie that acknowledges other zombie movies.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's
You can
great.
you can
You
almost
should.
buy into it more. Yeah.
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 I have a question as well about Joker's gun.
Oh yeah.
Is this the same gun that he shot the Batwing down with? Because I know I'm normally the gun researcher, but the barrel's shorter. Is it telescopic? Has he pushed it in?
This barrel's shorter.
Well, doesn't he collapse it in this minute?
He does, yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm just being blind.
I mean, it's slightly shorter than it was when he shot it down anyway, but yeah, he descends it, or distends it, even more, yeah, as it goes up the step.
Aha. Yes, I see what you mean.
I feel like this gun was just comically long barreled. So I can't imagine it possibly being any longer.
Yeah, I remember in the previous minute he pulls the whole thing out of his jacket, and it's kind of a comedy bit where it just keeps going.
Yeah. Well, not even out of his jacket,
Yeah.
I got out of his trousers, which is one of these, like, how the hell was he even walking?
I
Yeah.
forgot about that.
Is that your gun? Or?
There's also, like, a really, nice shot as well of Batman ushering himself into the church, like having to open these giant doors, and again, very gothic, very atmospheric. And it's also kind of notable, like, the Joker closed the door after himself. Like, that was considerate of him. Like,
Very polite.
yeah. And Batman just leaves it wide, just like, no, I got time. I'm gonna.
His mama raised him right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, Batman didn't have any mother to raise him to close doors.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Do you think he pees with the door open?
He's a bachelor.
Yeah.
I mean, Alfred's seen it all. He doesn't
Or a
care,
Oh,
does
yeah.
he? He probably bathes him. I
bachelor.
reckon he gets the loofah on him and everything. Well, he certainly he dresses him.
Yeah. It's not weird. It's just their lifestyle. It's just the lifestyles of the rich and famous.
But you have to wonder how many toilets are in Wayne Manor. I bet there's like 18 toilets in that whole place that Bruce just has the run of. Like you can just wander down any other, wander down the corridor. There's a toilet in here. Maybe I'll flush it. Maybe I don't have to. Like it could be days before anyone finds this.
And he has like different kinds. Like one's like the cool Japanese toilet, and then one's like a solid gold toilet, depending on what mood he's in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Every bathroom is themed.
It would have been great if
Jess always has to bring up the decor.
Yeah.
it would have been great at that scene of like Knox and Vicky going in like to the hall of armor way earlier in the movie, and that was just like them going down a corridor with all different toilets. And it's like, look at the shape of this toilet. I mean, it has music and it sprays things up your butt. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Where do you think you got this? And, it's Japanese. Oh, how would you know? I bought it. I went to the toilet in Japan and I really liked it.
Well, I mean, if we are to assume Batman maybe trained in Japan, this Batman clearly didn't train anywhere. But in the grand scheme of things, Batman's meant to be very well traveled and trained all over the place by different people, multiple disciplines. He might have got used to different toilets. Maybe he's got a squat toilet.
Yeah, I was about to say maybe a little squat toilet somewhere. He's his like his India themed bathroom, and
You just know sometimes too in the Batcave when Alfred's not around, he's like, I could go all the way up to the toilet there, but I do have all these just giant caverns around, and like I am just sitting on the edge of a cliff. Like I could just like, and you just know he's mid-flow one day, and it's just like, Master Wayne, what did I tell you? It's like, Alfred, nobody's down there. Come on, who cares?
We do see him literally hang upside down like a bat as he sleeps in this movie. So maybe he's just trying to become one with the bat. And, just hang out in the cave. Just let it go where it goes.
Yeah.
But does he make things out of his guano? Does he make bowls and things like that?
Yeah.
I just imagine though, like into like this 10th year of Batmaning, it's just like the pit with all this, like all his defecations. It's actually reaching quite the odorous level, and it's like, Master Wayne, I genuinely think we should do something about this now. Although that's the thing, like 10 years into Batmaning, I don't think that Alfred would still be around. Like I think he's got maybe like until from 89 to 97. So I imagine like after that Alfred dies, it's gonna be like, well, who's gonna clean up the pit? And
then he just goes full bat. He just starts squeaking at people, and
I was thinking maybe he suddenly like delves into Grey Gardens territory, like the whole
Black Gardens.
Yeah, Black Gardens. It becomes a squalid filth and.
Yes.
I want to see that movie.
Yeah.
It's like a mockumentary about how Batman is just losing his shit after Alfred dies.
Yeah.
Speaking of, Batman, we should get back to the actual minute at some point. We do this. We got a couple of. Again, it's majoritively just walking upstairs. This minute really.
We do get Batman knocking over a bunch of pews, which I really enjoy.
It was like, really, Batman? Are you drunk? But Murren had to explain to me what happened and in the context of everything.
It is one of those things. It's a bit like people like, oh, Batman. At one point, it looks like he's got like a stone in his shoe the way he's walking. And then,
he's really staggering around.
Yeah.
And then you do have to remember, like, well, he was just in a huge plane crash. Like, he's literally walked away from it like less than a minute ago. So I guess we'll let him go away with that one.
I'm glad we see him fall into the pews, not just because it's hilarious, may I say,
It is hilarious.
because at first I thought he was walking after them so slowly.
Yeah.
To be much like a Terminator, like you said, Niall, just because A, it looks cool, and B, because, he's planning, he's being careful, he's trying to work out, what am I going to do? But then you see him fall into the pews, and you're like, oh, wait, no, he's dying.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
You can imagine his internal monologue as well, like stealth and been cool and like, oh, I'm gonna get the drop on him, and then he knocks over one pew. He's like, oh, okay, and then there's a whole domino effect, and he's just standing like, oh, element of surprise is gone right there.
Well, as we're going to see in the next few minutes, the element of surprise is completely gone.
Yeah. Yeah. And I liked how the doves flew away. All of a sudden, it became a John Woo movie. And I'm excited now for the John Woo Batman remake that I want to have happen.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, that would have been amazing. The fight scenes would have been great.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot
So
of flipping and...
I am all here for
Yeah.
John Woo Batman 2020.
Yes.
Actually,
Coming soon.
actually, genuinely kind of
Yes.
upset myself there because I was like, oh, doves, when doves cry. And I was like, oh, Prince would want to do the John Woo Batman. I was like, oh, God, that's right. Yeah, Prince. No more Prince Batman soundtracks, unfortunately. But he would have been on board with that. It's like, what? Wait a minute, what? They're doing it again
Yeah.
with added doves? Oh, I'm all over that.
Any dove-related property.
And so people know that is my official Prince impersonation as well. Like whenever yeah, you gotta bathe yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
So he's like a gruff, half Irishman.
Anybody want some pancakes?
That voice he's doing, he's just pitch shifting it the whole time. It's all been a lie.
Yeah, it's just his stage persona is that.
We're joking, but he did used to do that. What was I was just on the Prince Track by Track podcast, and the song we were covering, "Feel You Up," was under his it was originally going to be under his alter ego Camille, who has a much higher voice. By mistake, like Prince accidentally using this new equipment, like pitch shifted it, and he was like, "Oh no, that sounds great. I'm just going to do a whole album like that and be this other character."
Interesting.
Yeah, but it never came out. I think the label were like, "No,
This is
You're not
too
releasing
weird.
You think though the Prince would have the money and the clout to be like, well, I'll just bring it up myself. Like it's just
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, but this is Prince. He very quickly got kind of bored of the idea when they said no, and he ended up putting it as a B-side to. Oh God, I'm blanking. I was on the damn show. It was one of the Batman tracks. It was the B-side to. Yes, it was Party Man. Yeah, definitely Party Man. So a bit of a weird shift though, because Party Man obviously. Kids quite like Party Man. It's a fun song, and then the B-side is Feel You Up.
Oh,
and
that's
the
later
lyrics
on in the
are
party.
exactly that's the end of the party. But in typical Prince fashion, one reason I love Prince, he is asking for permission to feel you up. He's not just going to do it. He wants consent, and that's something I like about Prince. It's always mutual. Yeah.
Although I do have to say, I do have a Prince story from my mom's hairdresser. Who,
Oh no, you're going to ruin it. What is it?
Well, it's not that bad. Basically, she was out partying, and Prince saw her partying and was like, "I like the way you dance. Dance for me." And basically made her like come party with him all night and like dance for him all night. And she was like, "This is kind of weird." So,
But just dancing, I guess.
yeah, it wasn't like. I mean, I guess dancing can be sexual, but it wasn't anything like.
Yeah, but it is weird that he said like dance for me now.
Yeah.
I order you.
Yeah.
It's a bit like I've got two things actually to say from this. It reminds me of the way Joker treats Harley in the Suicide Squad movie. Like he would probably make her dance for someone else. Well, he makes her do more than that. But and also, Prince, he's an interesting one because the lyrics to "Feel You Up" are literally him. He says, "I don't want to sleep with you." Basically, I just want to touch you. So he's got some interesting. I don't want to say fetishes. But,
My favorite Prince song, "Black Sweat," he says like, "I don't want to take your clothes off, but I do, and I want to make you scream like a white lady." And so there's some really interesting lyrics in that one.
Maybe it's all about denying his own desires to a certain extent and just sort of building it.
There's something very Buddhist about that.
Tantric.
yeah.
Tantric, that's right.
I just got the image though of Kramer in Seinfeld though, just doing that whole like, Jerry, when I've discovered myself, I love depriving myself of things. It's fun. It's very monastic.
I just introduced Jessa to Seinfeld last night.
Yeah, so my
actually.
first episode of Seinfeld last night. Yeah.
I showed her the jacket.
Oh, because I was wondering, like, you didn't start from the very beginning, did you? Because
No.
it
but
takes
exactly.
Seinfeld a while to get to, like,
Yeah.
its peak, pretty much.
But nothing else happens. Batman falls into the pews, and we see Joker. He hears Batman falling all over the place and realizes that he is definitely alive, and he's slowly following them. But does he know it's Batman, actually, though? This is my question. Does he know it's Batman? Or do you think he doesn't know, but he knows?
I think he knows.
Well, if he's seen movies before, then he knows. But
yeah, of
I
course
feel like he
it's
knows. Yeah.
I got, like, through the process of elimination, because he's not heard any police sirens yet. And yet someone's pursuing him, and it's just like, well, it can't be any cops. So it's gotta be this Batman guy again. And I guess but he does stop and have a kind of squint for a second. He does have a real, like, what is this kind of look on his face for a moment or two.
Well, before we do go into the dark night, would you two like to tell our good listeners where they can find you and your great show online?
yeah, sure. We do Point Break Minute. We hang out with Bodie in Utah and Pappas and Tyler Ann, and you can catch it on iTunes, on Google Play. Pointbreakminute.buzzsprout.com is the host, and find it on moviesbyminutes.com as well as you can find Batman 89.
And we have a great
Batminute 89.
great few minutes with Niall McGowan too.
Yeah, Niall McGowan was on in the somewhere in the teens, I believe, and those you can check that out.
But make sure you do check that out and check us out, which I'm sure you have done if you've listened this bloody far. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr. Just look up Batminute 89 will be the first thing to come up there. And review us on iTunes, please, because it's really helpful. It's great. It pushes us up, and everyone will see us, and then we'll be popular, and then we'll do I don't know what we'll do. Nothing. But you know what
Finally
we will do?
show them that we made it.
Yeah, we'll show them. We'll show them all. We'll show them, man. We will be back, though, on Wednesday, because we will have minute 104 of Batman. So I would say see you then, but it's a podcast, so there's no video. Bye.
Bye.
Next time, waiting for the other shoe to drop. While the battered banneret knocks back a pew too many, some ill-fated footwear takes a fall. But will Vicky's be the only flat feet on this beat? Find out Wednesday. Same Bat Pod.
Different Bat Minute.